Progressivism and liberalism are enemies. James Ostrowski indicates that the interventionist mindset has destroyed U.S. individualism. This is Fergus Hodgson, publisher of the Impunity Observer. The classical qualifier. Spanish speakers have retained, to a large degree, the original meaning of liberalism. This is the intellectual tradition descending from Western European Enlightenment thinkers such as John Locke and Adam Smith. Liberalism emphasizes the individual and his rights, including life, property, and free exchange, and it places the burden of proof on government to justify any departure from the default of freedom and natural law. English speakers, Americans and Canadians in particular, have reason to envy that Spanish language clarity. The Anglo-American understanding of the word liberalism has degraded terribly in the past century and made it synonymous with progressivism, which is statist interventionism. Conflating the two flips the meaning adhered to by some U.S. founders, especially those with Jeffersonian affinities, and it has caused more than uneasiness among studious liberals. Often they now call themselves classical liberals to reduce confusion. Attorney Jim Ostrowski, based in Buffalo, New York, has for more than a decade been on a mission to convey the true nature of progressivism and retake the liberal tradition for the liberty movement. In Progressivism, a primer on the idea destroying America, which is 226 pages and was published in 2014, Ostrowski explains how the interventionist mindset has swept the United States since 1900 and is an archenemy of liberalism. He describes the primer as his best book among many he has authored, and he contrasts the United States of today with that found by Alexis de Tocqueville in the early 19th century and described in Democracy in America. I would like to announce my latest book, The Latin America Red Pill, My Search for Freedom South of the Border, available in Spanish as La Píldora Roja de América Latina. This book distills 15 years of exploration and analysis and is part autobiography. If you want to get past political correctness to understand the reality on the ground, read The Latin America Red Pill. You will learn how to survive the law of the jungle, when a move to Latin America makes sense, the key to entrepreneurial success in the region, what Latin America needs to achieve development, and a whole lot more. Go to Amazon.com or click the link below to get your copy. Thank you. The Breadth of the Enemy. Ostrowski's book, albeit informative and compelling, is not uplifting. How could it be? The plain truth is that progressivism now dominates all U.S. power centers, including both major political parties. Ostrowski makes this clear in his Liberty Moving video podcast, which I listen to without fail. His belief, for example, is that the Make America Great Again, or MAGA, movement, insofar as it seeks liberty and decentralization, is at war with the Republican Party establishment, the rhinos who congregate in Washington, D.C. Calling a spade, as Ostrowski does, will likely ruffle the feathers of many self-described Republicans and conservatives. That applies especially to those who defend government indoctrination centers and pension funding schemes, aka public schools. Ostrowski identifies public schools as glorified daytime prisons and his ideological enemies, the foundation of big government in America. In 2009, he released Government Schools Are Bad for Your Kids. There is no shortage of meat for Ostrowski to go after when taking down progressivism, and he does not hesitate to take on sacred cows, Abraham Lincoln and the war between the states, Social Security, and nation building, among many others. His politically incorrect critique even extends to what seems like an Israel-first foreign policy. We must fight with direct action. Fundamentally, Ostrowski asserts that progressivism is irrational and a departure from the greatest idea ever created for human flourishing, liberalism. However, the utopian folly of progressivism, that there can be a governmental, coercive solution to every problem, is appealing to a vast swath of people. Ostrowski likens progressivism to therapy for those who lack a sense of personal efficacy. Such is the intensity and precision of his takedown, though, few progressives are likely to finish the book. My guess is that it would be too unsettling and challenging to their emotionally driven worldview. This is somewhat ironic, since Ostrowski wants liberals to cease speaking only to themselves. Progressivism's adherents do not appear to have any limits and ignore the skyrocketing costs of their policies, which have brought the United States to her knees. In 2014, when progressivism came out, Ostrowski was concerned about US $17 trillion in official national debt and $200 billion in interest payments. The debt has more than doubled in a decade, and the interest has cracked $1 trillion annually, while unfunded liabilities continue to mount. This indebtedness underlines why the progressive mentality is useful to power-hungry rulers and parasites such as public sector unions. The challenge then is what to do about the problem that seems more all-encompassing by the day. Because professionals and cronies profit so heavily from electoral engagement and lobbying, liberty-minded individuals are less experienced and have less incentive to participate. One does not feel good writing this, but just look at the Canadian and US Libertarian Party's pitiful records for evidence. The final chapter, How to Bury Progressivism and Restore American Liberty, takes on this challenge with rousing detail. It alone is worth the $7 for the digital version. Ostrowski promotes many steps, including voting with one's feet and reclaiming one's personal health. Above all, he calls for urgency and taking personal initiative, what he calls direct action. Waiting for a politician or political party to save the day reflects illiteracy of how democracy works, since insiders have vastly more sway than private sector individuals. The first step, he notes, is understanding the problem. While there are classic primers on economics, such as Economics in One Lesson, Ostrowski's progressivism is underrated and deserves broader attention. It has aged well and is even more relevant now than when it came out. This brief review cannot do justice to the book's detail, importance, and sage perspectives. If you would like more content like this, please subscribe on our website and follow us on X, LinkedIn, and Telegram. Thank you.